So today I'm going to be reviewing Why We Broke Up by Daniel Hardler, and the artwork is by Maria Kalman. Now, something interesting to note about this book is that the author, Daniel Handler, is also the author of a series of unfortunate events under his pen name Lemony Snicket for that book. And I just felt that was something really interesting, as I wouldn't have known that, but in the back of the book it says. So I just thought that was really interesting. So this book is about why two people broke up, just like the title says. And it's basically written in a series of notes and letters and such. And it's really interesting the way it is written. It is basically about a box of things from this couple's relationship and how these things relate to the relationship and in the end why they broke up. And also things to do with the relationship. Now each thing that you find in this book will also come with a note from the girl who is narrating the story. So for example, one of them is this poster, and the artwork in here is also really interesting. Another, for example, is this cookbook, and it's just really interesting, and it kind of gives you, so you'll see what the item is, and then it'll give you the story behind the item and everything, and why it is important to the couple and why it is important to why the couple broke up. Now, something that I found really interesting about this book is that Min, the main protagonist of the story, is a kind of really flawed character. Now, a lot of authors make their main protagonist really flawless and perfect, but Min is flawed. She's quite snobbish in a way, and she's an artsy hipster movie type of person and everything, and she's really snobby, and I just found it really interesting how the author flawed her, and so she wasn't perfect, and that made her human. It made her real, and all the characters in this book are real, and it's just so great to read about some, and refreshing to read about characters that aren't perfect. They are flawed, and that is so great. It's so refreshing, and it's just amazing to read about. The two people in this book that broke up are Ed and Min. Now, it's written from Min's point of view, and she's giving him the box with all the notes and stuff of why they broke up and everything. And both of the characters are such polar opposites. Like, he's like a jock basketball type, and she's this artsy hipster kind of movie type, snobby type. And they really don't fit together, and their relationship was kind of awkward, and I didn't really see them moving forward anyway, which obviously in the end it doesn't. I found it refreshing to read a young adult novel of where a relationship doesn't work out, of where the characters were flawed, of how the writing was just so nice and refreshing and real and raw, and just a consistency of just a mess, and it was just great to read about. I can't say Ed and Min are my favourite characters, because they're not. They're definitely not going to be my favourite characters to put up there on my shelf of my favourite characters, you know, who I'd like to be friends with, because I don't think I'd like to be friends with either of them. But that's the point. They're human, they're real, and they're flawed, and it's great. And I'm sure some people would love to be best friends with Min or Ed or something like that, but they're just not my type. And I think it's great that the author made these characters, and so that, you know, the people, us readers, wouldn't like them, but we would relate to them. I related to Min and how she was going about this relationship, and Ed too in some ways. However, what we saw of Ed was purely through Min's view and thoughts and everything, and so I felt that the relationship was very one-sided, and I felt that I still wanted to know more about Ed by the time the book was finished. At the end of the book, when Min finally gets to the reason of why the couple broke up and everything, like the little bits and pieces, but in the main reason why they broke up, it's like you're breaking up with Ed too. It's really real. It's like throughout the book you start to place yourself in this scenario, and you are actually breaking up with Ed and Min in a way too, and I'm breaking up with them, and at the end of the book I felt like I'd broken up with someone. The writing in this book too is spectacular. It's kind of like you're reading a poem, and the thoughts and the consistency of Min's mind, of the way it's written, everything, it's really great. The writing is spectacular, and I will definitely be picking up more books from Daniel Hardler, especially if the writing is similar to this one. In the end, I really, really enjoyed this read. The characters weren't likeable to the sense that I'd want to be friends with them, but in the end that made it even better, and to feel like I'd just gone through a breakup at the end of the book, it was just great. I really, really enjoyed it. The artwork in the book was spectacular, and the way it was written and the story was presented was just fantastic. The story was real, it was flawed, and it was great, and it was just perfect. And I'd recommend this to anyone wherever you're going for a breakup, or you just want to read something a little bit different than the whole normal young adult romance genre. This story is real. It shows that sometimes couples aren't meant to be, and it's perfect in the way that it does this. I would definitely recommend this book to everyone. If this book sounds interesting to you, or even if it doesn't, maybe still pick it up too, because you might be surprised. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this, and I'm so happy that I got what I got with this. It was just a fantastic read. So in the end, I think I'm going to rate it 5 out of 5 stars. I know I don't do that often anymore. I used to be really easy with my book ratings, but I've become tougher now, and so that really shows how much I really enjoyed this book. It was real, it was raw, it was great. So let me know in the comments below what you thought of this book, if you've read it, or if you plan to pick it up anytime soon, and what you think you're going to think of it. And also don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you'd like to see more book reviews from me. And I'll see you next time. Bye!